Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Youth Edition. It's Oldham Athletic. It's Dylan Allen on a quest for Champions League glory. It's time to sit back, relax, and get in that comfy chair. Put it on the big screen TV. Crack your favourite beverage, because here we go with the Youth Edition. Hello and welcome to the Majestico season number 1 with the Youth Edition. You guys at home have been voting all season on your favourite players, and now we get to see those points tallied up and who will be the Majestico winner for season 2018-2019. We've had a lot of players play through the team this year. Some have performed better than others. Will they get the votes though? It's really all up to you guys. We're going to jump into this count right now and see who will win the Majestico for season 2018-2019. So we start with game number 1, and the first votes of the year go to Boyd. Gets 1 point, 2 votes here for Miranda, and 3 votes for Nick Harris. So Nick Harris is the only youth player there. The other 2 are regens, but Nick Harris gets us underway with 3 points. All right, let's move in to game number 2. We've got 1 vote here for Bernard, 2 votes for Cooper, the goalkeeper, and 3 votes for Millet. And so there are 3 new faces to the leaderboard. We move into the first round of the Carabao Cup. All cup games have been voted on this season. And the first vote goes to Roberts, 2 votes here for Barros, and 3 votes for Thomas. So 3 more lads onto the leaderboard. Time to move into game number 3. It's a 3-horse race, of course, with 3 man of the matches. But let's get into the points here. It's 1 vote here for Barros, 2 votes for Thomas, and 3 votes for Laurent Bernard. So everyone's starting to pull some points together here early. We move into game number 4. Thomas is in the lead with 5 points, but in this game we've got 1 vote here for Boyd, 2 votes for Millet, and 3 votes for Barros. He goes to 6 points and top of the table. Game number 5, we've got 1 vote here for Thomas, 2 votes for Bernard, and 3 votes for Cartier, the French centre-back, getting his first points of the season. And Bernard and Thomas both going to 6 points. It's 3-way tie at the top of the table. Game number 6, and we've got 1 vote here for Cartier, 2 votes for Owen Griffiths, and 3 votes for our goalkeeper in Cooper. We move into our first CHECKATRADE trophy match, and we've got points here, that's for sure. 1 here for Boyd, 2 for Owen Griffiths, and 3 for Miranda with a man of the match performance, and he goes to 5 points. Well, it's a tight leaderboard as we move into game number 7, and we've got 1 vote here for Barros, 2 votes for Bernard, and 3 votes for Cameron Griffiths, getting his first points of the season, and I think that takes Bernard to the top of the table. We move into game number 8. We've got 1 vote here for Oliver Millet, 2 votes for Cameron Griffiths, and 3 votes for Bernard. He goes to 11 points and our first man this season to hit double figures. It's time for game number 9. We've got 1 vote here for Cartier, 2 votes for Bernard, and 3 votes for Nick Harris. Well, big 3-pointer there for Harris, but Bernard is starting to put a little bit of a gap on the players behind him. Game number 10, it's 1 vote for Bernard, picking up points here and there. 2 points here for Guerin, his first points of the season, and Oliver Millet comes in with the man of the match performance. It's time for game 11, and we've got 1 vote here for Owen Griffiths, 2 votes for Bernard, and 3 votes for Alfie Lee, and that might be his first points of the season as well for Alfie. We move to game number 12, and we've got 1 vote here for Nick Harris, 2 votes for Miranda, and 3 votes for Cameron Griffiths. Starting to make a move up the leaderboard here is Cameron Griffiths. We move into the CHECKATRADE trophy game 2, and we have 1 vote here for Thomas, 2 votes for Barros, and 3 votes, there he is, Guerin. It's time for game 13. We've got 1 vote here for the Australian in Moore, 2 votes for Cooper, our goalkeeper, and 3 votes, there he is, Guerin. Time for game 14. Guerin has moved into 5th position, but in this game we've got 1 vote for Owen Griffiths, 2 votes for Alfie Lee, and 3 votes for Barros, and he joins the double figures. He goes to 12 points. All right, game number 15. We've got 1 vote here for Barros, 2 votes for Bernard, and 3 votes for Guerin, and Guerin is getting some big points here, and that'll take him to 11 points. Game 16, we've got 1 vote for Barros, 2 votes for Thomas, and 3 votes. It's that man Guerin. He goes to 14. Time for game 17. It's Bernard out by 4 points over Barros, and Guerin making a serious charge at the moment. There we go, though. It's 1 vote for Alfie Lee, 2 votes for Guerin, and 3 votes for Bernard, the first man into the 20s with 21 points. Well, we move into our first FA Cup encounter, and we've got 1 vote here for Lee, 2 votes for Cooper, the goalkeeper, and 3 votes for Cameron Griffiths. He goes into double figures as well. Time for the CHECKATRADE Trophy, game number 3, and we've got 1 vote here for Boyd, 2 votes for Alfie Lee, and 3 votes here for Sonev, the centre-back that was filled in at left-back, I believe, in that game and had an outstanding performance, his first points of the season. Game 18, and we've got 1 vote for Cameron Griffiths, 2 votes for Bernard, and 3 votes here for Owen Griffiths. So we have the FA Cup Round 1 replay, and we've got votes here. 1 for Barros, 2 for the Australian in Moore, and 3 for Guerin. He goes to 19 points and trying to chase down Bernard. Game number 19 of the regular season. We've got 1 vote here for our goalkeeper Cooper, 2 votes for Barros, and 3 votes, it's Oliver Millett. Game 20, we've got 1 vote here for Cartier, 2 votes for Barros, and 3 votes, Guerin, and he goes to 22 points, 1 behind Bernard. All right, let's get into game 21, and we've got 1 vote here for Guerin. He joins Bernard at this stage. 2 votes for Owen Griffiths. He joins double figures on 11, and it's 3 votes for Bernard, and he manages to keep that little bit of a buffer on Guerin. Game 22, things starting to heat up a little bit at the top of the table, but we've got 1 vote here for Cameron Griffiths, 2 votes for Barros. He goes to 21 points, and the man of the match is Bernard, going to 29 points and putting a little bit more of a gap on the rest of the pack. Game number 23, we've got 1 vote here for Owen Griffiths. He goes to 12 points. 2 votes for Oliver Millett. He's got 2, so he jumps back up into 4th position at this stage, and it's the 3 points for the captain in Barros. He goes into 2nd position now with 24 points. Moving in to game 24, we've got 1 vote here for Cooper, the goalkeeper. 2 votes, it's Millett once again, and 3 votes, Alfie Lee going into double figures. It's time for game number 25, and we've got 1 vote here for Barros. 2 votes for Cooper, the right back, the American, and 3 votes for Tchonev, another man of the match. When he gets on the board, he goes in hard. Time for game 26, we've got 1 vote here for our right back Cooper. 2 points for Guerin, and 3 votes for Cameron Griffiths. So Guerin closing the gap a little bit, and Cameron just picking up some points. Game number 27, we've got 1 vote for Roberts, 2 votes for the goalkeeper Cooper, and 3 votes for White. I think he's just come in, made his debut, made an outstanding performance, and gets 3 votes. Game number 28, we've got 1 vote here for Alfie Lee, 2 votes for Noah White, and 3 votes, it's Barros. He goes to 28 points. And don't forget, Bernard had a fairly quiet second half of the season, so we'll have to see what happens. Game 29, we've got 1 vote again for Noah White. He's had an outstanding couple of games here. 2 votes for Alfie Lee, and 3 votes, it's Owen Griffiths. All right, time for game number 30, and we get 1 vote here for Barros, who goes to 29 points, equal with Bernard. But then Bernard comes in with 2 points to increase his little buffer, and it's 3 votes for Guerin. So we've got 3 lads here fighting it out at the moment. Game 31, we've got 1 vote for Cooper, our goalkeeper, 2 votes for Nick Harris, he's been quiet, and 3 votes, it's Alfie Lee going to 18 points. All right, game at number 32, we've got 1 vote here for Millett. 2 votes, it is Barros, and he joins Bernard at the top of the leaderboard, but bang, 3 for Bernard. Anytime Barros gets close, Bernard just outdoes him by 1 and actually increases his lead a little. Time for game 33, we've got 1 vote here for Harris, 2 votes for Barros, and 3 votes, it's Alfie Lee, and he goes into the 20s. Game 34, and we've got 1 vote here for Noah White, 2 votes for the goalkeeper in Cooper, and 3 votes, it's Barros. He goes to 36 and top of the leaderboard. All right, we're closing in. It is game 35. Barros has the lead by 2. And we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. But here we go. We've got 1 vote for Barros, 2 votes for Cooper, and 3 votes for Owen Griffiths. All right, game at number 36, and we've got 1 vote here for Cameron Griffiths. 2 votes for Bernard, finding some points once again. And it's 3 votes, though, for Guerin. He goes to 31, and the race is on here, ladies and gentlemen. Game 37, we've got 1 vote here for Roberts. 2 votes goes to Barros, and 3 votes, well, it's Alfie Lee. We move into game number 38, and in this game we have 1 vote for Guerin, 2 votes for Noah White, and 3 votes, it's the goalkeeper in Cooper, and he goes into the 20s. Game 39, we've got 1 vote here for Bernard, 2 votes, Alfie Lee, 3 votes, it's Guerin, and he goes to 35. Time for game 40. There is, 6 games remaining. It's a 3-horse race, you'd feel, between Barros, Bernard, and Guerin. Let's check the points for game 40. We've got 1 here for Roberts, 2 for Cameron Griffiths, and 3 votes. It's Oliver Millett, and he goes to 20. We move into game 41. We've got 1 vote here for Barros, 2 votes for Cameron Griffiths, 3 votes, it's Owen Griffiths. Well, we get into the business end of the season. We've got game 42. 1 vote, Noah White. 2 votes, that man Cooper. 3 votes, Bernard. And he goes to 40 and equalises with Barros. Game 43. We've got tied at the top of the table between Barros and Bernard. Who will take points in this one? 1 vote for Barros, 2 votes for Cooper, 3 votes for Alfie Lee. So Barros back out to a 1-point lead. 3 games of voting to go. Let's get into game 44. We've got 1 for Cooper, 2 votes, Guerin, 3 votes, it's Oliver Griffiths. No, it's Owen. I've messed that up all season. Game 45, 2 games to go. It's heating up here as we have 1 vote for Noah White, 2 votes for Cooper, and it's 3 votes for Bernard, and he will go to the top of the leaderboard. So the final game of this season, the final game of points to determine who will be the winner. Barros would need a man of the match to get over Bernard here. Let's get into the points, though. We've got 1 for Barros. He will finish on 42 points. 2 votes for Bernard. He goes to 45 points and will be declared the winner. But the man of the match for the final game of this season is Guerin. He goes to 40 points, and we've got 3 players in the 40 zone. So there we have the Majestico count for Season 1. It is done and dusted. What I need you guys to do in Season 2 is keep on voting. It generally declines away a little bit as people lose interest, but now that you may have never seen this before, you can see what these points are for. I need you all voting. Get in there. It doesn't take long. Click the eye, pick one, and you get the votes in, and then we get ourselves a champion. So the Majestico for Season number 1 has been taken by our French left winger in Bernard with 45 points. Obviously, he played a full season alongside Barros, who got 42. Guerin came in quite late to proceedings, probably 10 or so games in, and he still picked up 40 points. So he was right in there with a sniff. Good to see Alfie Lee in there. Cooper, surprisingly, picking up 28 points. The Griffiths brothers, 24 and 21, respectively. Millett, well, he was hot and cold. He's got 20. Noah White came in very late and has picked up 11 points as a centre-back. And Harris there gets himself 10. So there is the leaderboard done and dusted for Season number 1. Bernard takes it with 45 points. He is our first Majestico winner. Will he be able to hold his title for Season 2? We will find out. Well, another 40-odd games to get through, but hopefully you're ready for Season number 2. We will have that in the next couple of days, and I will see you then. I'm Sparring DK, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and you have a good one. This video is powered by Neurotech and their product clarity. Now you can jump over to their website now, use the discount code DK10 for 10% off your next purchase. And I highly recommend this product. I use it every single day. It increases your energy, your focus, while reducing fatigue and stress. If you want to know how I get out all these videos and keep that work going, this is the product for you. So go and check it out. All the information that you need is on that website. If you feel like making a purchase, chuck in at that discount code for 10% off. Now, if you are looking for more fresh content to check out, you can click one of these two videos. If you feel like subscribing, well, there's a button right there. Make sure you put on that notifications bell, and we'll see you next time.